Wow, what a crowd we have today.
Yes, look at that. I see a lot of familiar faces.
Yes, I do see some familiar faces as well. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to HR Symposium 2023, jointly organized by the HR Sector Coordination Team. Hello, my name is Felicia. I'm from Temasek Polytechnic.
My name is Emma. I'm from right here, Singapore Polytechnic.
And we are delighted to be your host this afternoon.
Thank you all for coming for our 4th HR Symposium, organized jointly by the HR Sector Coordination Team. We are so thrilled to have hundreds of people here today, Felicia. We have industry partners, HR professionals, businesses, and of course our students. We are so excited and thrilled to listen, engage, and learn from our esteemed speakers and our exhibitors.
Absolutely. And with that, we want to start by welcoming our guest of honor for this year's HR Symposium. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put our hands together and welcome our guest of honor, Minister of State for the Ministry of Manpower and Ministry of Education, Ms. Gan Xiao Huang. Thank you, Ms. Gan, for making the time today to be at today's HR Symposium. Emma, tell us, what is the HR Sector Coordination Team? Such a mouthful.
Yeah, I know, right? Sure, the HR Sector Coordination Team, or HRSCT for short, was established in 2016 to enhance the connection between the institutes of higher learning, or IHLs, and the industry. It consists of all the representatives from all polytechnics and the Institute of Technical Education. SP, as a designated lead, is responsible for facilitating collaboration among IHLs to strengthen the HR competencies and industry readiness of all our students who are here with us today.
Okay, Emma, you mentioned 2016, and that year is kind of familiar. And it's significant as well because I think that was when Skills Future was launched.
Absolutely.
And we all know that that is a national movement to help Singaporeans to get the skills you need at any point in time in your lives. And if you are looking to upskill, maybe to reskill, or maybe just to get a skill, Skills Future got your back, Emma.
That's great to hear, Felicia. I realize since we're both lecturers here, and I remember you told me that you used to be a lecturer here in SP, right?
Yes, 21 years ago. Really, honestly, I was here 21 years ago.
Let's not get carried away. Let's not give away our ages here. Yeah. Okay, but let's revise since we're both teachers here.
I'm only 30.
Ish. Do you think you can tell me what is the theme of this year's HR Symposium? But please do not look behind you. Just take a hint from the environment, from the people around you, from the person next to you.
I'm just going to look at you. Isn't she beautiful?
I paid her to say that.
I look at her and I think the theme must be sustainability.
Yes, you are so intuitive, Felicia. Actually, the theme today is sustainability in Christmas, right?
Christmas,
yes. It's like
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Christmas came early. So we are seeing red, but we are definitely seeing green today. It's all about sustainability, specifically HR sustainability. So, a follow-up question, Ms. Felicia.
Yes. It's a test.
Okay. Yes. What can we expect from the plenary discussion today?
Okay, plenary discussion. We're going to discover the crucial role that HR plays in creating a sustainable future of which we are all going to be a part. Whether you are an HR professional or aspiring to be one, we all have a part to play.
Absolutely. Today, we're going to explore how HR can help organizations become more sustainable and really make a positive impact. Please do not believe the myths that sustainability is only for MNCs or big organizations or it's only about environment. Sustainability is about everything. And we all need to get involved because HR can lead the way by making small changes in our onboarding, training, engagement, and well-being. And guess what? Today is Mental Health Day.
10-10, that's right.
Yes.
It's really important. Sustainability or not, mental health is uppermost. It should be uppermost on all of our minds.
Absolutely.
Well, with the current digitalization, for onboarding, what companies can do is they can actually adapt sustainable e-onboarding packs. For learning and development, for instance, you can raise awareness, you can initiate training on responsible and sustainable lifestyles. On employee engagement, you have coming up with activities through sustainable means or promoting employees' safety and well-being by offering maybe healthy and sustainable work meal options. And just let's name a few. These are simple, quick wins, or what we call low-hanging fruits, that any organization can do, regardless of its size.
That's right. Sustainability need not be complex and time-consuming. It all starts from us. In fact, for instance, today, I brought my own water bottle. Did you bring your own?
Yeah, I did. It's right there.
Yes, everybody's walking around with their water bottle in SP. You cannot be seen without a water bottle of your own here in SP. Now, before we begin the event properly, may we request everybody to please, let's put on our phones in silent mode, but please feel free to take pictures and make sure when you post later, tag us with hashtag HR Symposium 2023 when you post it.
And as our world becomes more focused on sustainability, it's crucial that companies and HR professionals prioritize that in their business practices. And I'm sure we're all familiar with ESG.
Enterprise Singapore?
No.
Oh, no.
You asked 2 questions, I got it right. I asked you 1, you get it wrong.
Sorry, teacher.
Hi. ESG, environmental, social, and governance. So ESG is simple, and it's a targeted way to measure how sustainable a company's operations are. And today, we have the opportunity to hear later from industry experts on the social aspect of sustainability and learn how to incorporate sustainability into HR practices for business success. This social part of ESG looks at how a company manages relationships with employees, suppliers, clients, customers, and in fact, the community at large. And this is where HR will play a crucial role.
Very well said, Felicia. I think you could be a sustainability ambassador.
I can.
Post the master.
Goodbye.
Yeah. And we are truly blessed today because we have the leading voices from the industry in the sustainability space. Felicia, I can't wait to get started.
Me too. So let's just do that. Get started, shall we? To kick off this afternoon's event on a melodious note, we have the talented performers from SP Vocal Talents who will be performing an a cappella. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the musical performance by SP Vocal Talents.
I won't just survive, you will see me thrive. Can write my story, I'm beyond the archetype.
I won't just conform, no matter how you shake my core, 'cause my roots they run deep. Oh, you so be surprised, I will still rise. Don't doubt it, don't doubt it. Oh, you know it, still rise. Just fight it, just fight it. Oh, you're out of time, but still rise. Rise, rise. You're out of time, but still I rise.
That was Rise by Katy Perry. And for our next segment, we'll be performing a medley of empowering songs.
And these 4 songs consist of Wings, I Will Survive, Survivor, and Confidence.
We hope you'll enjoy our performance. Mama told me not to waste my life. She said, spread your wings, my little butterfly. Don't let what they say keep you up at night. And did they give you? Then they can walk on by. My feet can't touch the ground, and I can't hear a sound, but you just keep on running up your mouth. Yeah, walk on over there, 'cause I'm too fly to care. Oh yeah, your words don't mean a thing, I'm not listening. Keep talking, all I know is at first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid life, I should have made you leave your key. If I had known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Oh, now go, walk out the door, just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye? Do you think I'd crumble? Do you think I'd lay down and lie? I'm a survivor, I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder, I'm a survivor, I'm gonna make it, I will survive, keep on surviving. I couldn't breathe without you, warming hand. You thought I couldn't see without you, perfect vision. You thought I couldn't last without you, but I'm lasting. You thought that I would die without you, but I'm living. Thought that I would fail without you, but I'm on top. Thought it would be over now, but it won't stop. Thought that I would self-destruct, but I'm still here. Even if my years ago, I'm still gonna be here. It's time to get the chains off. It's your tongue tied up, 'cause this is my ground, and I'm dangerous, and you can get off. But it's all about me tonight, tonight. Oh, so you say I'm complicated, that I must be out of mind. You found me underrated, rated. What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being confident? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being confident? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being confident? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being confident? didn't.
I'll do that.
Wow, that was really awesome. Can we give them another round of applause, please? I tell you, Felicia, the number of talents here we have these days, mind you, it's mind-blowing.
Absolutely. It was certainly energizing. You know, Emma, I've always wanted to sing, but every time I open my mouth and attempt to, people tell me, don't give up my day job. So
Hey,
here I am.
careful what we wish for, because in HR Symposium 2025, you will be a talent.
I'm not going to
singing
sing
here.
though. And with that, we would now like to invite the Principal and CEO of Singapore Polytechnic, Mr. So Wai Wah, to deliver his welcome note. Mr. So, please.
Guest of honor, Ms. Gan Xiaowan, the Minister of State for Manpower and also for Education, our precious industry partners, esteemed guests, colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. Welcome to Singapore Polytechnic and welcome to the HR Symposium of 2023. This is our fourth HR Symposium. It's jointly organized by the 5 polytechnics as well as the Institute of Technical Education. And of course, with the support of the Ministry of Manpower and Institute for Human Resource Professionals. We are delighted to bring together at this symposium this HR community, business leaders from various industries and sectors, as well as promising young HR talent seated in our midst right now. Yeah. This year marks a significant milestone with the launch of the HR Industry Transformation Plan by the Ministry of Manpower. This Industry Transformation Plan aims to elevate the HR profession and HR practices in Singapore. The 5 polytechnics and ITE, through our colleagues in the HR sector, we are thankful to have this opportunity to contribute to this initiative, to be able to align with our mandate to promote HR talent development and nurture the next generation of HR leaders. Our institutions offer industry-relevant continuing education and training programs, which will enhance the skills of our HR professionals. We also collaborate with the industry on projects to establish effective HR solutions for business. Furthermore, we collaborate closely with our Institute for Human Resource Professionals, and this in aligning our curriculum with the IHRP's body of governance. This alignment ensures the continuing relevance of our curriculum and bolster the employability of our students. Very importantly, we collaborate closely with our sector agency, the Ministry of Manpower, to identify emerging skills insights, industry trends, and best practices, and to share such invaluable information with the HR practitioners and students at this symposium. The theme for this year's HR Symposium is Sustainability in HR for Business Success. It dwells into the critical area of sustainability within the HR sphere. The past year has witnessed a notable increase in discussions about sustainability. HR can actively contribute to sustainability efforts and can play a multifaceted role in promoting sustainability within an organization. It is in a strategic position to develop and implement sustainability policies in areas such as diversity and inclusion, flexible work arrangements. This can enhance the company's reputation, employee satisfaction, and help achieve the goals of the business. The symposium will facilitate the exchange of ideas on how HR practices and strategies can align with business sustainability to drive positive changes and business transformation. Today, we will witness the signing of a MOU between the Institute of HR Professionals and the 5 Polytechnics and ITE. The MOU signifies a significant partnership between the HR sector of the 5 Polys and ITE and IHRP. It aims at jointly developing and delivering co-branded micro-credentials tailored to the evolving needs of HR professionals. These micro-credentials will play a pivotal role in enhancing the knowledge and skills of HR professionals. We are pleased to have Mr. Aslam Sadar, the CEO of IHRP, in joining us to sign this MOU, along with representatives from the 5 Polys and ITE. In closing, I would like to express my gratitude to the joint IHL Organizing Committee from the 5 Polys and ITE for your tireless effort in planning and coordinating today's program. You have done so over and above your already very demanding schedule, and really grateful for that. Lastly, to all of you, distinguished industry guests, colleagues, and students who have taken time to be part of this HR Symposium 2023 today, I really am very grateful. Let's come together, join our hands, and work towards the future. Indeed, let's join our hands and work towards a future where both sustainable living and working, they are not merely concepts, but are really truly integral aspects of our way of life. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. So. Thank you again, Mr. So. We would now like to invite our guest of honor for today's event, Ms. Gan Xiao Huang, to come on stage to deliver her opening address. Ms. Gan, please.
Well, we all know that Singapore is a small island with a small population, but with a lot of talent. And while we do not have natural resources, we do have human capital in all of you, our students, our leaders, the people in Singapore. And that's why HR is very important for us. And sometimes I think we undervalue HR, and I hope that as we talk about sustainability and the social pillar of sustainability, there's greater awareness and greater focus on how we unlock potential in every employee, every worker, and also unlock the potential of more businesses in Singapore. So I'm really glad to be invited to today's HR Symposium 2023, my first time, and very delighted to be able to participate in the symposium today. Mr. So Wai Wah, Principal and CEO of Singapore Polytechnic, distinguished guests, friends, good afternoon. Well, first I'd like to thank members of the HR sector coordination team that is ably led by Singapore Polytechnic for organizing today's event to bring businesses, the HR professionals, students together to discuss emerging trends in HR and building links. So congratulations to all of you for being here today. The theme of this year's symposium is Sustainability in HR for Business Success. And this is a timely subject as we enter a new era where businesses are starting to focus on sustainability issues to increase their competitiveness. Now, we are also aware that increasingly businesses are faced with challenges such as climate change, economic uncertainties, and a very tight labor market. Now, businesses are starting to view commitment to environmental, social, and governance issues, better known as ESG, as a strategic value for them. While the environmental pillar of ESG is more often discussed, the social pillar deserves equal attention, as human capital is key to whether a business can stay competitive and sustainable. This includes building fair and inclusive workplaces, as well as better supporting our employees' mental health and well-being at the workplace, and for a more productive workforce. Marsh and McMillan published a report in 2020 which highlighted that ESG performance as a workforce strategy has become a competitive advantage for businesses, both in engaging today's employees and attracting tomorrow's talent. HR leaders play a pivotal role in driving such efforts, which include diversity and inclusion, employee engagement and well-being, as well as learning and development. It is crucial for the ecosystem made up of schools, IHLs, industry, and of course the government to ensure that the HR community in Singapore is equipped with the right competencies and mindsets to take on greater responsibility of enabling business transformation. Today, I'm heartened that IHRP, our skills development partner, is partnering the 5 polytechnics and ITE to further strengthen the nexus between industry demand and skills training for HR professionals in Singapore. IHRP and the IHLs will sign an MOU that Mr. Sowaiwa mentioned earlier on, and this is to develop and deliver co-branded micro-credentials in areas such as technology and operational excellence, people analytics and insights, and future of work design. And these are all very exciting emerging areas, not just in Singapore, but globally too. This will equip the HR community with skills and knowledge to meet the evolving needs of businesses and our workforce. The government is also committed to support the HR sector. In May this year, Ministry of Manpower launched the HR Industry Transformation Plan, or the HRITP in short. This is a 5-year roadmap that sets out the goals and priorities for uplifting enterprise HR capabilities to support business transformation and for upskilling and professionalizing the HR workforce to be strategic business partners. Now, one area of focus is HR digitalization. Simple automation can lead to significant time and resource savings. Other strategic planning tools such as skills intelligence platforms and also data analytics can better help business plan and align the workforce skills and training needs. To defray the cost of technology adoption, businesses can tap on funding like the Productivity Solutions Grant, PSG. Businesses can also assess the HR maturity through the Human Capital Diagnostic Tool, or HCDT, which is akin to a health check on the HR processes in the company. I encourage all businesses to use this tool and its insights to enhance the human capital resources. I also encourage more HR professionals and students to be IHRP certified. I know Mr. Al-Aslam will be very happy with that. I know that by the end of this year, you can use your Skills Future credit to pay for part of the certification costs. Certification not only recognizes your knowledge and experience as a HR professional, it also provides access to more HR networks and resources which will be useful in developing your career. Fair and progressive employers are also an important part of the ecosystem. I know that there are business leaders who are here today. I thank you, for striving to be progressive employers in Singapore. It's important that HR plays a role in this. For instance, implementing HR strategies such as flexible work arrangements and other work-life support help to build a resilient, engaged, and sustainable workforce, which goes a long way to helping businesses reduce the turnover of staff and improve productivity. Addressing mental health and well-being of the employees at the workplace is also becoming increasingly important. Given the significant amount of time that we all spend at work and the impact that work stresses can have on mental health and well-being, it makes sense for us to build more caring and inclusive workplaces and improve the mental well-being support systems for employees in need. The HR community in this regard is vital in driving this change. So more work for the HR. To support HR in this area, the tripartite partners have worked with the HR community to develop a playbook on workplace mental well-being, where you can refer to plug-and-play type of templates to implement mental well-being initiatives, such as how to create a safe space for conversations and peer support system. There are also resources available for businesses who need support in implementing human capital practices that strengthen the social pillar of ESG. For example, businesses can take part in a HR learning journey launched in August this year. I was there just a while ago. It's actually, quite an interesting setup, and I encourage more SMEs and businesses to go take a look at this learning journey on how it can improve the capabilities of your manpower development and retention. Well, this journey also aims to help SMEs and HR staff in employee onboarding, performance management, learning and development, which are the key areas to help businesses with staff retention and engagement. To date, around 50 SMEs have gone through the program, and I look forward to hearing more companies coming on board. In closing, the government, along with partners like IHRP and our IHLs that are here today, will continue to support businesses and HR in the transformation journey to adopt progressive and sustainable HR practices for business success. Make use of the initiatives under the HR Industry Transformation Plan. There's a lot that it offers. There are also significant opportunities to drive and lead change for HR. I encourage students to go beyond your comfort zone, go beyond what you learn in your classrooms, and continuously upskill yourselves so as to seize the many opportunities ahead in your vast and long career. Well, remember, the HR potential is to be unlocked by our students who will be the leaders and the future HR professionals. I wish all of you a fruitful and meaningful symposium. Thank you.
Thank you, Moskan. I'd like to invite you to remain on stage for the Memorandum of Understanding ceremony between the Institute for Human Resource Professionals, or IHRP, and the Institutes of Higher Learning, which includes the 5 Polytechnics and ITE.
May we also invite Mr. So Waiwa, Principal and CEO of Singapore Polytechnic, Mr. Aslam Sardar, CEO of IHRP, Ms. Anita Kwan, Deputy Principal of the Masek Polytechnic, Mr. Suresh Natarajan, Principal of Institute of Technical Education, Mr. Tan Jack Min, Senior Director of Nanyang Polytechnic, Mrs. Anna Yap Sui Hong, Senior Director of Niam Polytechnic, Mr. Tui Jun Mun, Director, Republic Polytechnic.
May I invite Mr. Aslam to say a few words about this MOU?
You have to pardon me. I have my script in front of me. All right.
We have 45 seconds.
I have 45 seconds. Okay, so first of all, I just want to thank Mr. So Waiwa and all the organizing committee for putting this program together and this symposium together. We are very pleased to be here today to sign this Memorandum of Understanding, which is actually a very significant milestone for IHRP. And I think more importantly, Mosgan for coming to grace this and to witness it. And of course, to give a big shout out to the IHRP certification. Thank you very much. So I think what I will do is I will just mention one particular point which I feel is useful. So I'm going very much off script from this very beautifully written script by my team. And I feel that it is an important data point to help all the students here who are the future talents of our sector. IHRP recently, and this is hot off the press, I just got the first cut of the report actually last Friday. So it is really, really hot off the press. But I will give you a glimpse. We did a survey of 1,000 respondents who are from the business sector, the recruitment sector, certified community, and HR that are non-certified. And we wanted to ask them, you know, what are your thinking behind certification and why do you feel certification is so important for you? And I'm very pleased to actually update everyone that specifically for the business people and the recruiters people, almost 90% actually mentioned that certification is actually a roadmap towards career progression and career mobility. So that is my pitch for you to encourage you to all do your certifications. So I hope that is a helpful piece of information. But I think more importantly on micro-credentialing, the future is really on lifelong learning. And with these micro-credentialings, we are entering a new phase of building the profession, right, towards a journey of not just learning new competencies as they come on board, but I think more importantly, how you can continuously upgrade, stay relevant, and help the workforce become more competitive. And I think if we do this, we make Singapore stronger. So with that, I thank you, and let's enjoy the symposium.
Thank you, Mr. Aslam. And to celebrate this MOU ceremony, let's take some photos to commemorate this beautiful partnership.
This MOU is truly a momentous event for the Polytechnics, ITE, and IHRP. It underscores the importance of enhancing professional learning and development opportunities for learners through the first of its kind stackable micro-credential pathway, all meant to upskill and reskill the HR sector. Another round of applause for this remarkable undertaking.
Thank you so much. Can we get the signatories to return to your seats? Stage ready, as you can see, for the next part of today's symposium. And while they are doing that, I think we're more or less ready. We're going to get ready for the plenary discussion next. And Amos Gan, if I can just invite you to take your seat first. So we'll be delving deeper into our main theme of this year's HR Symposium, Sustainability in HR for Business Success, through a plenary discussion with Mosgan and our panelists. And Emma, you can tell us who they are.
Yes,
panelists.
May we also invite our other panelists, Ms. Nitha Nair, CHRO of Prudential Singapore, Mr. Derek Teo, CEO of Elites Group, Lloyd Tan, final year student of School of Business from Singapore Polytechnic, Theodore Lim, final year student of School of Business and Accountancy from Nghi An Polytechnic. And last but not the least, this plenary will be moderated by our Center Director of SP's Business Innovation Center, Ms. June Lee Ng.
Hi, a very good afternoon to all of you. My name is June, and I'll be your moderator for today. And well, yeah, you know I have fan club, right? Okay, so as you all know, today's topic is about sustainability in HR for business success. So we put together a group of really remarkable plenaries from ministry, from MNC, as well as from SME, a very notable tauke here, as well as our student representative. All because we want to dive deep into the conversation of what truly is sustainability in HR. Is it just about enhancing employee engagement, foster a culture of resilience, and perhaps drive positive change for your company? After all, what we really want to build on assets are very important, and that is no other than us, the people, right? Okay, so with that in mind, you know, questions, of course, to Mosgan. In very recent Skills Future, festival sharing, she shared that technological advancement and, of course, economic shift demands that workers equip ourselves with skills and knowledge to keep up very relevant in the job market. But it's just like what you have mentioned earlier. We are the HR professional, always developing talent, but are we the forgotten bunch, maybe? And some of the burning questions from the audience is that they want to hear your views. What are your perspectives on sustainability in HR role in this increasingly automated and tech-driven world? Also, what is the ministry doing to support this very important function in the industry? Mosgan?
Thanks. It's a great question. Well, fortunately, I'm in both MOM and MOE, Ministry of Manpower, that worked with our tripartite partners in IHRP to develop the HR transformation plan I mentioned earlier on. And also I'm in MOE, where SSG is part of the family. And together with my SSG colleagues, we look at upskilling of adults, right? Adults who are already in the workforce, including HR professionals. So, it is in my core interest, to promote upskilling of workers in all sectors, and particularly for today, the HR professionals. Now, it's also in my job, I get to speak to many business leaders, the taukes, from big and small companies, as well as employees of different levels, union workers, union leaders as well. My own takeaway is that it's very difficult to go to a company and say, hey, you need to upskill your staff. They don't bite at all, some do, the employers are very enlightened, progressive, they'll get it very quickly, even without us approaching them. But very often, businesses are looking at business growth, business opportunities, competitiveness, how to create value in the business operations and better recruit talent, retain talent, and so on. So, then for HR professionals, those who are already in flight, meaning you're already working as HR professionals, I think the question would be, how do you bring it up to the consciousness of the decision makers, the policy, and the employers in the company? Well, I would say that it helps if our HR professionals understand the trends, understand the trends that are emerging, and opportunities that you can bring up to your employers. First of all, take a look, hard look at the HR transformation plan. Some of you may be hearing it for the first time. Some of you may have heard it, but not yet read it in detail. Do take out bits that are relevant to your job, to your company, and use that, as a starting point. If you haven't done so, to engage the supervisors as well as the employers on what future of HR can do, be a strategic value partner to the employer. So that's number one, bringing value to the employer. And two, in the nearer term, be aware of some of the issues that are emerging and that will affect all employers. For example, workplace fairness legislation. I'm also very fortunate to be part of the tripartite committee that developed the the recommendations for this new piece of legislation. The bill will be passed hopefully in Parliament next year, and thereafter this new legislation will be applied in Singapore for businesses. So what does it mean for your company, right? Workplace fairness legislation, hiring decisions and employment decisions that must be based on merit and no discriminatory practices. What do you have to do now to get your companies ready? Part of the legislation also requires companies to put in place a grievance handling process. So does your company have one now? If not, start thinking of how to put in place one. If you need some ideas, if you need some resources, you can turn to IHRP or look at SNAF, the SME centers, ASMEs. They do have some know-how and resources that you can tap on. Another thing that's emerging will be flexible work arrangements. Next year, the government is also committed to implement guidelines, tripartite guidelines on flexible work arrangements, which also means that all companies need to have a process to fairly and properly assess the request for flexible work arrangements by your employees. It doesn't mean that all requests will be approved. Really, it's still the prerogative of the company to decide what form of flexible work arrangement can be supported for which job roles in the company. And you as a HR, you will have to understand this, distill the implications of new legislation, new requirements that are coming online, and get your companies ready. To do that, it means you have to go upskill, right? You have to go and top up, and your knowledge on these requirements and be able to advise your employees, be a valued partner to your employer. So I would say, number one, look at the HR transformation plan, which already has been rolled out to extract what's relevant for you and your company. And two, in the shorter term, look at what are the emerging pieces of legislation, policies, and start preparing your workplace for it. Thanks.
I would definitely agree to start preparing for it. And that's why when this symposium is hosted in Singapore Polytechnic and IHL, this is really no better place than this. And on that same note, we have Lloyd with us, who is a student representative from Singapore Polytechnic. Yay. It's great to have students, guys. You have to learn this. If you want to make your symposium a success, invite students. They bring the fun to you, all right? So, yeah, okay, enough. All right. I had to continue, Okay, so we have Lloyd, who just completed his 22 weeks of internship. So Lloyd, we would really want to hear from you after hearing from Mosgan. What resonates with you? But before you share, also bring us through, the lens of a Gen Z, something that we want to decode all the time, but still couldn't, What is it that you think could be HR sustainability for success of business? Perhaps is it in the area of employee engagement, which you so passionately shared with me just very recently? Lloyd?
Thanks for the question, Ms. June. I think that was a really good one, and I'm quite excited to share. First off, maybe I start with what resonates with Gen Z. So, drawing from the many conversations I've had with many of my peers, particularly those in the audience right now, I can confidently say that purposeful work ranks rather high in how we, Gen Zs, determine if a job resonates with us. So many students like myself want to see what a company stands for, its current HR initiatives, and what it plans to do in the future. So I'll just use a personal example. During my internship at Perso Kelly, my supervisor made it a point to share the organization's goals and explain how I could contribute to them. So after that, I could tell that my efforts would result in a true purposeful impact. Moving on to your second question, I'll share about some HR sustainability initiatives in the area of employee engagement that I experienced during my internship. So what I think my internship company did well, Perso Kelly, was employing the use of both non-monetary and monetary solutions. So non-monetary solutions Everyone must be like, oh, what are they? So they're as simple as commending employees during meetings or acknowledging their hard work in front of everyone. And actually, I was very heartened when my manager did exactly that, to acknowledge and recognize my efforts, even though I was just an intern. It really made me feel very touched, and it honestly made my day. Now, monetary solutions, on the other hand, doesn't have to be money itself. It can refer to events such as monthly birthday celebrations, or company bowling night, or BBQ. So these events gave me the opportunity to relax and mingle around with my colleagues outside of the regular working environment. And of course, food always helps, doesn't it? Yeah. And then these HR initiatives, both non-monetary and monetary, actually made me feel valued as a person, not just what I could do for the company. And if you ask me, it's actually the main reason why I would actually love to go back there to work once I graduate. All this really shows is that companies can build on manpower sustainability that will result in business success, starting as early as the internship phase.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. So for the industry partners right now, so you know that just annual D&D is not going to cut it for Gen Z, okay? You need monthly recognition, daily recognition, and over and above, you need to put 200% increase in your food budget, because they don't eat, they inhale the food, okay? So we know because we have to feed them every day. All right, so that's Lloyd. Talking about Gen Z, you know, we have next Nitha Nair, CHRO of a big MNC Prudential. She's no stranger to the term Gen Z. In fact, in Prudential, they stretch the term a little bit more. They call it Gen Z Plus. So Nitha, would you like to share with us, you know, what are some of the, you think, because we always chat on ESG, and you spoke about, we talk a lot about environment, we talk about governance, but it's the social part that hits both of our hearts, that, you know, what are some of the skills and competency you think HR professionals should navigate the social dimensions of that? Nitha?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Let me just take the opportunity to say thank you to SP and Mr. So for HRSCT for inviting me. It's a privilege to share the platform with Moskan and all the speakers here and distinguished guests and HR talents. Right. I think firstly, I'd just like to say we need to acknowledge the fact that we are privileged to be working in Singapore, where actually the government has always been very forward-looking, and there's always been a vision and investment in skills development, right? And so I think we should not take that for granted. And actually, I would say urge everyone, whether it's the students or the SMEs or corporates, to actually leverage some of that. And we've been beneficiaries of that as well. So back to Gen Zs and what they are expecting, as Lloyd just said, they want to work for companies and which stand for a purpose or invest in their growth and development. And I think that's an aspect that's very critical for students, for professionals, continuous lifelong development. And it's not just as you start your career, but ongoing. And I think for us, it's a key priority. That's one of the reasons our people say they love working for Prudential, because of the opportunities that we provide. And it's not just on technical skills. So of course, year on year, we do talk, ensure people are upskilled on whatever is current or future for, like AI, or design thinking, or customer experience, ESG. These are things that are core skills. But also in terms of ensuring how that they can be better beings and authentic in terms of how they behave, and so critical perspectives that they may have, and how we come across and interact, collaboration, and so on. In terms of HR skills specifically, and if I say students here, if it's relevant, I think there are, the times have actually changed quite a bit in terms of, especially during and post-COVID. And so I would say during that is when HR actually came to the forefront as a strategic partner. And I think that is something that HR and students must acknowledge and have the courage and confidence to understand that they are value creators. It's no more a back office function. And so I think that's the first thing is, as a skill, if I was to say, is to be value creators to the business. And that needs what I think Mosgan was referring to briefly about understanding what are the business trends, what does the business need, social demographic impact on some of that. But be value creators through that. The second I would say is to be culture, I would say culture custodians, not champions, that's what the leaders and staff need to be, but custodians who would help navigate and ensure that the culture, which typically rooted in purpose and values, is actually embedded in all the practices. And lastly, I would say to be culture catalysts, change catalysts, my bad. To be one of the first to adopt some of the technology like Gen AI or digital transformation related, such that we can help navigate and our staff through that. So some of these HR is what I think are going to be critical for students, HR professionals going forward.
Thank you, Neeta. In fact, my last final year project of a class of 20 students, we were at Prudential, and they're all fans of Prudential. In one shot, they swapped 10 students off my class, and they all want to be interns with Prudential. And I must say, I have to give a pat on the shoulder, because why? It's not just doing a typical HR role like just L&D. They have positions in diversity and inclusivity. How cool is that? My students loved it. In fact, they just text me, Miss June, my psych safety video was just launched, and guess who endorsed it? The CHRO, So they get all excited, and they start texting and putting it all over social media. And so that, my friends, it's really inclusivity practiced by an MNC. Yeah. So on the same note, we also have Theodore, who is a student representative from Ngee Polytechnic. Okay, I can see you guys are sitting there. Okay. So Theodore is actually a big fan, of inclusivity as well. So, Theodore, would you like to share with us what do you think students can contribute, as advocating or even influencing in the education institution, and thereby perhaps creating a ripple effect in your future organization or possibly even for the community? Because I know Theo is a big advocator in community. Theo?
Thank you for the question, Ms. June. Hi, everyone. So I think sustainability as a word is very well known amongst all students. However, what we students struggle with is how can we apply sustainability into our work, right? And so how can we apply sustainability into our work? And that's something that all of us are trying to work towards as well. So over here, I would like to share one conversation that I had with my friends just the other day, right? And we were just talking about today's topic on sustainability HR. And when I was sharing about this topic, one of my friends actually made a comment about, oh, isn't HR sustainability just the HR department asking employees to plant trees, right? Right? But even though that's one such initiative, that whatever we have discussed today shows that sustainability is so much more than just that. Right? You have the social pillar, you have the governance pillar as well. So let me share with you two ways that I feel students can come in on board the sustainability train and contribute to sustainability HR. Okay? And the first way that I feel that we can contribute is first being knowledgeable about what sustainable HR means. And this means doing what all students love most, research. Right? So we have a whole library full of research materials that you can tap on. And I think it's really important for us to learn about what's sustainability HR and what is exactly happening in the industry, so that when we come together, we are able to share and contribute meaningfully to furthering this purpose. Right? And once we have the theory down on hand, we can then move on to how can we apply this theory into a practical scene. And that is where I will need the support of all the industry partners over here, as well as the IHLs and even the government, to help come in and become a combined force to help support the development of our students, so that when support the development of students through collaborations, right? And this reminds me of a very recent project that I did back in last semester, and we actually did this project with a partner that's with us here today as well, and that partner is Adecco, and I think they are here somewhere as well. But basically, our project scope revolves around how can we apply the knowledge that we learn in total rewards and help them analyze and provide recommendations for them to better engage and retain their employees. And my group mates and I, we discovered that, hey, why not we focus on the mental and physical well-being of employees? How can we elevate that for employees at Adecco? Right? And this is just one such way that companies and IHRs can collaborate to allow students to have real-life problems for them to solve. Right? And these skills help us to not only see what are the real issues that's happening in the landscape, but also develop critical skills, current skills, in fact, to help us tackle these issues. And that's also one point of sustainability in HR, to ensure that employees and students have the most up-to-date skills for them to shine and do their best. Right? And that's all. Another thing that these projects also help students to build the mindset and the habits needed for them to succeed. Right? Not just, and not only that, when students share their projects, you are adding on to the arsenals of students, of ideas that they can propose to their bosses when they exit. So with thousands of graduates every year, each of us kind of become like a multiplier. And when we all work together, we can create a ripple effect as one, resulting in positive progression in HR. And then we can together build a better society for everyone.
Wow, thank you, Theo. I told you he's an advocator. So, with that, truly and strongly agree that in education, it's where we build the mindset and we cultivate the habits. And speaking of habits, we have with us Derek, who is the Human Resource Online Leader of the Year Award for 2022. Yay! Correct, right? Better check. All right. So, Derek is a strong advocate when it comes to the social part in ESG. In fact, I just read on your LinkedIn just before we started, you cycled 70 kilometers with your teammates, and then you posted on LinkedIn. So share with us, what are some of the notable HR initiatives that you have implemented within Elite, and that, maybe also elaborate on some of the tangible impact that you think it has on your organization. Derek?
Right, so thank you very much for this invite. And before I answer, I would like to comment that if I were to flashback when I was a student, I don't recall any of us being as eloquent as the two of them here. So I got to really give it to them. So please put your hands together. Yeah, so to answer June's question, maybe I share a little bit more about what our company does. So we are a multi-service HR provider. So we do recruitment, contract staffing, training, outsourcing. And our whole business revolves around human beings. Yes? And besides handling the outsourced contract staff, we have our own headquarter corporate staff of about 180 in Singapore. And as we continue growing and scaling in the past years, we noticed that, or rather we do not want to have any siloed departments or divisions that do not interact with each other. So 2 years ago, we actually came up with an initiative to do internal sports group. Right, so our demographics, it's quite generalized, but some of the movers and shakers are incidentally the ones who are very passionate about sports. So there are sports groups like cycling, badminton, table tennis. We even have a sports corner in our office. So I think these are actually what we do to enhance the social glue among different teams and different people in our company. So I think that's one aspect of keeping them engaged, getting them to build bridges across departments and divisions. Okay, and on top of that, it's also crucial of how we continue engaging them. So I think like what Lloyd has mentioned, about free food, we do the same. We give free beer as well. Yeah.
Derek.
Sorry, not for students.
Alcohol
yeah,
here.
you have to check your ID first before you come to the fridge. Yeah, but no, genuinely, it's also a practice that started from COVID, right? You can't drink outside, then you drink inside lah. Yeah.
Okay
but
lah.
then again, that also has a measure of, dissolving certain barriers, not just about drinks, but about food, about a get-together. We design an office in an open concept. So even I don't have a room, right? And that open concept allows, the flow of communication, easy to talk to, flat hierarchies. So I think these are aspects that maybe also as a certain advocate to other fellow practitioners, it's about how you use or modify some of your current policies to stay engaged or keep your colleagues engaged And not forgetting that as the Gen Zs graduate and come out to the workforce, they have a different expectations of what they hope for, how they identify themselves with certain groups of employers. So for us, all these are, in a way, a measure of self-preservation to ensure that we continue staying in business, we continue attracting the talents. I mean, my friendly competitors are what they spoke about, right? Adecco, Perso, Kelly. They are the big boys. Yeah, but if for me to hold my weight against them, I need to have free beer. Right. Sorry, just
We
kidding.
need to talk after the plenary session, Derek. Okay, so thank you, Derek. And moving on to the last bit, everyone really wants to know the future role of HR. And this is the best platform. We have Lloyd and Theodore really have questions they would like to ask Mosgan. So Lloyd, would you please?
Okay, so I'm quite excited to ask, or quite keen to get your opinion on how do you think the government can play a more active role in higher education in better preparing us students to be part of a sustainable workforce of the future?
Well, first I must say that government certainly has a role, because we work with the IHLs, we work with the education institutions in Singapore to prepare and equip our talent, whether it's HR or other trades. Certainly, going forward, we will hope to see greater partnership and tighter relationship between the industry and our education institutions, because many trends are developing very fast, and you find that because of technology disruptions, we have to keep our curriculum updated. And it's almost like, while you're driving a car, you have to change the wheels. How do you do that, in a fast, responsive, and a safe manner? Actually, one of the strategies is really to make sure that the industries are very tightly coupled with our educational institutions, IHLs especially. Internships also, we will continue to promote that. Work-study programs for ITE students, and for our diploma students, also internships, company attachments that will allow you to have first-hand experience, be out of the classroom experience on what the real work entails, the skills that you need to be equipped with, not just the hard skills, but also the soft skills that increasingly companies are looking for. So these are the things that we will continue to do to prepare our undergraduates. Now, the education that you get, in the first 15 years, we know probably can last you a while, quite a while, but it's not going to be a lifetime, right? So CET, continuing education and training, I mentioned Skills Futures just now. I hope that our students here, even after you have left your school, continue to look for opportunities to upgrade your skills, whether it's through Skills Future or through your employers, workplace learning or company-sponsored training, to keep yourselves updated in your skills. Very importantly, remember our future trends. There are some trends that we already know are coming. Aging workforce. We're going to have more and more seniors at the workplace. Multi-generational workforce at the workplace. How do you deal with that? How do we continue to create inclusive, kind, friendly workplaces so that more people will want to stay at work, more people want to come back to work? How do we unlock the potential in our population, the work potential? While our employment rate has been going up, and in fact our employment rate for Singaporeans is now higher than it was pre-COVID, there are still pockets, segments of our population that I strongly believe we can tap on. Women workforce, for example, especially middle-aged women, and also the senior workers. How do we get more of them to continue to work or come back to work? HR actually is going to play an important role. Wherever you're going to be, your boss is going to ask, hey, how do we meet the manpower challenges? We are short of talent. We need to get people who are of the correct skills to work with us and work for us. So the HR will have to be mindful of some of these future trends and understand how government policies will continue to shift and evolve, and you have to keep yourselves updated. Even as we are speaking, there are already new changes that are being implemented. Compass, how many of you have heard of Compass? Not the compass that you use for navigating, but Compass for hiring of employment pass holders, foreign talent. That's something that was only launched this year. I hope that our IHLs will very quickly put that inside your curriculum so that our HR, undergraduates, when you enter the workforce, you know how it works, you know how, or better still, you can go and update, the HR people in the company. Hey, this is, what it's all about, and advise the company, advise the new workplace on what you can do to take full advantage of this evolving landscape and policy changes. Thanks.
Thank you, Mosgan. Different life stages, isn't it? Okay, Theo, last chance for you.
Hi, Mosgan. I was just wondering, aside from education, what are your personal beliefs for aspiring professionals like us?
Well, I really like what Lloyd and Theodore said just now about purpose, right? Purpose. I would say that it's not just for the young people, middle-aged people, many of us, what drives us to work, get out of bed, it's actually the purpose of what we do, knowing that we are making a difference, knowing that there's meaning in what we do. So I think for the young aspiring HR, keep that close to your hearts. Know that it's not just about you, craving for purpose, but everyone in the workplace wants to be appreciated, wants to know that what they are doing counts, right? So that's one. And on the subject about employee engagement, I also want to add two more P's. You mentioned purpose. Two more P's. Progression. Progression, I think, matters. We all want to know that we are I think moving in the right direction. So career progression, whether it's within your company or career progression within the sector, I think is quite important for us to bear in mind. How do we make ourselves and our co-colleagues more employable? That's key. The third P is about pay, right? Pay has to be competitive. I know it sounds very basic, but that's real. Besides purpose, progression, pay as well. Make sure that the pay, reflects correctly the value of the work that people are doing. You might have read about how under the social compact, right, Forward SG conversations, the government is also looking at how we can better appreciate and value blue-collar work that we think, has a pay gap that is drifting further from what we think it should be. So going forward, if you are going to work in a sector where the pay gap is widening, you may want to pay some attention to what we can do to uplift workers at the workplace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yay! I totally agree with purpose. I mean, without purpose, of course, it really takes that extra ounce of effort to wake up every morning. So now, back to Derek. Skip the fermentation part. All right, share with us, what are some of your radical thinking of the future role of AHR?
Well, incidentally, at the lounge earlier, I was sharing with some other educators. I feel that there's a lot of potential for the young talents, about to graduate. If you're able to internalize or at least learn some practical, deployable skills in how to implement ESG or sustainability into a company, your employment value will go up. Your pay wouldn't be low, for sure. So I would think that is something, in my opinion, is bite-sized. It's honestly not difficult to adopt. In my keynote later, I'll be sharing some more, right? So I do think that with that kind of perspective, a young talent with some deployable practical skills that they can relay into an SME, right, will make them very valuable to an SME owner.
Thank you. I I also really agree with the ESG part. In fact, we are working on a project with elites on ESG very soon. We're meeting up next week, in fact, for Singapore Polytechnic. All right, last, well, not really last, but Neetha, how about yourself? Share with us some innovative views on the future role of HR, because I know in Prudential you lead up, the innovative team, really coming out with a lot of ideas year on year. So what are your views?
Can you hear me now? Okay. If I could take the creative license as an innovative aspect and talk about breakthrough, then I think in maybe 10 years, odd and plus, I think it would, if I look at future of HR as a function, I would say it should be obsolete or redundant. Okay, it could be a bit controversial, not putting you guys out of a job or your studies, but what I mean is in the current form. Things that we can adopt technology for, and the standard processes of recruitment, performance management, compensation review should all be digitized already, right? And as do most entrepreneurs and SMEs who are here, I think we are moving towards managers and leaders leading the people agenda. That is what they do best. They are directly working with employees to create that impact. So they should be leading the people agenda in terms of coaching, development, engagement, and so on. And that means HR in today's form is obsolete. It needs to do something more and value adding, as I said, be value creators. Then we should be doing what we heard just now in terms of strategic workforce planning, social sustainability practices. How can we contribute to the larger societal changes as professionals, whether it's on the culture piece, whether it's on people analytics, design, so on. So I would say, yes, in 10 to 15 years, our role should be different from what it is today, not as we see it as the function it is today.
And I totally agree. In fact, there is a CEO from Shalom International sitting right here in the audience. Their slogan is, everyone is a HR in their organization, right? Gideon, where are you? Oh, there you go. Yeah, hi, Gideon. Okay, so a final question, of course, Mosgan, to wrap this up really nicely for us, share with us also your own view on the future role of a HR.
Well, I would say that the success of a company lies in the HR. Remember, in my speech earlier on, in Singapore, our key resource actually is the people. And HR, your role is to unlock the potential in every employee, and also, in turn, unlock the potential of the company. So, think of it that way. You are, a strategic asset in the company. And make sure, you are able to stay ahead of the game, know what are the emerging trends, what are the long-term, not just technological and the business model changes, but also in, global changes that are happening around us, plus also be very rooted on our Singapore demographics, and then, contribute to your company's workforce planning, as well as the company's policies to unlock the potential. So, you are our answer to many, many social issues as well, like inequality, right? And also inclusiveness, fairness, lots of things on your plate. I want to wish all of you good luck, and we'll be looking to our future HR leaders in this room today. Thank you.
Yay, thank you very much. And on the same note, let's give a round of applause to Mosgan, Derek, Neetha, Lloyd, and Theodore. Till then, thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that very vibrant discussion. And on behalf of the whole HR sector coordination team, we want to thank Mosgan for joining us today. She will now take her leave. A round of applause for Mosgan. Thank you for making the time today. May we also invite our guests back to their seats. I'm sure many of us, including Emma and myself, are intrigued about the viewpoints that were just shared by our guest of honor and by our panelists as well about this seemingly fresh topic of sustainability in HR for successful businesses. And kudos to our moderator, June, as well, for really bringing out all these views together seamlessly.
Yes, absolutely. I have to make a quick announcement. My students, my interns are back here in SP. I told them to write a one-page reflection about today's event, but I think
they have more than
I think I'm extending it to 2 pages because there's just way too many key takeaways today. I love what Mosgan say about purpose, progression, and pay. I mean, very practical, and pay, and how we can handle all these rising trends of
since we're all humans, it all concerns us.
Yes, I can relate to that aging population, Felicia.
That's just you, not me.
No, but seriously, thank you so much for that lovely plenary discussion. There's so much.
And let's give it up also for the 2 students.
Yes,
Lloyd
they held their own.
Excellent.
You guys rock, right? I mean, it's interesting because the things they talk about, you know, when I was listening to Theodore, of course, I know our SP student, I was listening to Theodore, it's like, he sounds exactly like our own students here in SP. So I'm so happy that all the IHLs, we are all consistent in bringing about the kind of students like Theodore here and Lloyd. Really, congratulations, thank you. Our journey towards sustainability is an ongoing one, and we're thrilled to have an outstanding speaker join us today, Felicia. And full disclosure, I have a personal connection with this next speaker.
Oh, you do?
Yes, but not that way kind of connection. 3 years ago, I conducted a human capital diagnostic tool, or HCDT, by IHRP. Aslam is smiling over there. Assessment of his company, Elites. Yep. At the time, as a CEO, he was talking about great things, expansion, growth, and all kinds of things that he wanted to do as a CEO. And just recently, I've met with him together with our senior management team from School of Business, and I was so happy to hear that everything he talked about really came to fruition. Now, Elites Group has expanded in Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, and India. In fact, after today, he's flying straight to Thailand for a meeting.
Person that he is.
Yes, so Elites' portfolio has also expanded from not just human resources, they do healthcare, sustainability, technology, innovation, and security. So in other words, Felicia, he's a rock star.
He is. Beer and rock stars go together. Okay.
He's also the Human Resource Online Leader of the Year 2022. Today, he will be sharing practical insights on the road to sustainability in HR. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back on stage Mr. Derek Teo, Group CEO of Elites Group. Derek?
Hello. Right, so while we were chatting with the organizers, they told me to treat this as a TED Talk. So welcome to my TED Talk. And ever since COVID policies tapered down and I start giving talks again to ITEs and some other schools, it suddenly dawned upon me that I'm almost twice the age of many students here. Yeah, not exactly flattering, but yeah, thank you so much on that. I'll take this chance to share my story, okay? So indulge me. So what I'm going to share about is a transformative approach to sustainability in HR. But before that, I want to share a story of change. Yeah, we want change. Okay, don't worry, I'm not George Goh. I'm not running for presidency. Yeah, the company's still small, right? I can't make it. Yeah. But I want to share a personal story of change. And the next 2 pictures I show you, I seldom really show to other people, but I take this as a chance to let you guys know more about myself. So in 2015, this is me. Right, that was 8 years ago. I just turned 30, and thankfully now, I look fine. I look fine. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Okay, but why change, right? I think that's important. So at that point of time in 2015, there's a certain impetus in my life that made me want to change. 2 things. So the first was that my daughter was born. Yes? Okay, so now she's 8 years old. Yeah, lovely, healthy, vibrant, and very naughty. Yeah. But at that point of time, as a young father, it dawned upon me that I want to give my daughter, in a way, a happy upbringing, all right, having a healthy father to take care of her. So that was my first impetus. Second motivation was a bit arbitrary, but turning 30, you have some revelation. And I see some older friends, if they don't maintain themselves well, and then throughout 30 to 45, yes, it's the golden age for most men's career, but it's also the time where most people become what you call an uncle. Yeah, which I was, right, back then. Yeah, so now I'm quite happy that when I go to order cai peng, people still call me Xiao Di. Yeah. Of course, I had to do a lot of changes in myself. I have to really, shake up my diet plans. I have to do some workouts. I have to do a lot of discipline routines. Yes? But at the same time, as an entrepreneur, to me, I think there's a very heavy correlation between how we can change ourselves and how we can effect change into our organization. So this becomes one of my key guiding principles, that I have to ensure that I have the ability to change myself, to understand the world better, to alter my worldview so as to internalize how the changing world will affect the organization. And then after that, I'm able to analyze and devise strategies for my head of departments to execute them on my behalf. Yes? So, of course, just now that picture shows a bit like I'm a health package salesman. Yeah, but no, I'm not. Okay, so I'm the founder of this company called Elites Group. So we started in 2010. So at that point of time, 2010, that was 13 years ago, we actually started off as a social enterprise. So our initial mission was very simple. We just want to help housewives to find jobs. So most housewives, they give many years of their life to their family, to their children. Then when the child become teenage years, they do not really bond with the family. There's some new revelations in their life. And the housewife feel a bit down and out, right? Okay, so we become a second home for them. So what we do, we hire them. Okay, we train them as supermarket promoters or merchandisers. And they will work on our behalf, and we'll get projects from the large brands from FMCG companies. So that was how we conceptualized our business in 2010. So we managed to work very hard in the first 3 years. We grew and grew, okay, get some recognition, words of mouth spread, more clients came to us. So by 2013, we kind of became known as a certain market niche leader in promoters and merchandisers within Singapore supermarkets. But that was also the same year when we nearly encountered bankruptcy. So there was a client that didn't want to pay us outstanding invoice about $500,000. It meant the world to us. It took us 10 months to overcome it. But in that 10 months was also that same period of time that myself and my business partner, we grew up the most. Okay, we learned how to handle the challenges. We had to grapple with the legal lawsuit. At the same time, we also have to portray the front towards employees that no problem, please continue working for us. We'll pay your salaries. We still have to tell our clients, trust us, the projects will still get done. Okay, so that 10 months, we really grew up a lot. And we also thought about what would the company be like if we managed to survive the crisis. So from a single service provider of managing temporary staff in supermarkets, we created a broad vision that we want to be an end-to-end human resource service provider, which entails recruitment, contract staffing, outsourcing, even training. So we took the next 5 years to transform ourselves. We managed to successfully relaunch our company in 2017 as a full-spectrum service provider. And from there, we built a credible sales team. We entered into the region. And of course, during COVID, we are very thankful. We managed to overcome the crisis. Of course, to sum it up in one breath, it's not easy, but it was very uncertain times. But we stick clear to our policies. We make sure that there's no pay cuts, no retrenchments. We were blessed that our clients stuck with us. We were blessed that new clients trusted us, and we managed to grow throughout this period of time, even though COVID was affecting us. Okay? So the whole aspect of wanting to change myself, wanting to transform the company, want to grow ahead, it also sets a junction where at this point of time, we were ideating what to do with the organization next. Now in Singapore, we are nearly 200 strong. In the region, we are about 80 plus minus. Our vision was set about 2 years ago that by 2027, we wanted to get ourselves to be significantly big enough that we can get listed on the main board of SGX. So that was our goal, right, by 2027. And one of the key motivation was also, when I observe some other business friends company, when they get listed, they have to comply with SGX rules. They have to do sustainability reporting. And for them, they're not experienced at doing that. So on the 1 year before they get listed, they scramble everything together. Environment, diversity matrix, governances, so on and so forth. And when in the act of scrambling together, what do you think the employees in the company will feel? Okay, it's very hard for them to feel rallied behind the cause, the genuine cause of anything to do with sustainability when you try to compact everything within less than a year. And in the worst case scenario, what happens that I observe in some companies, end up the employees just decided and assumed that this is just a facade making. You're just doing this so that you can cash out when your company gets listed, blah, blah, so on and so forth, right? So that's something that we want to avoid, and we realize that there's no better time to start than now. In fact, we started it 2 years ago. Okay, and at the same time, we are quite thankful that we are involved with many of our MNCs who are our clients. And as larger establishments, they themselves have some global standards to follow. And we actually took lead from understanding what are the standards they expect from smaller service providers like us. We internalize it, and we realize that when we pitch for deals in the last 2 years, ever since I implemented the ESG committee in our company, when we started to pitch for deals and indicating about different processes, certificates, accreditations, and activities that we have done, we have a much higher chance to get to the final round of every tender evaluation. So in the last 2 years, we've actually won very major significant contracts, totaling more than $8 million, okay, arising out of our activities that we generated from ESG. So to the industry practitioners here, or even the SME leaders, it will be heartening for you to know that actually implementing ESG in your company, okay, policies, practices, accreditation, it may sound at the upfront as if it's a cost invested. But I can assure you, the journey I walked through, that there is ROI. Okay, it's just that you cannot predict the ROI in this quarter or this year, but there's definitely ROI. And we have managed to acquire it for our own organization. So let me bring you through some of the ESG initiatives that our company has gone through. And I had tried to digest it to be a bit more bite-sized so that each in its own can be an easily deployable method within any of your organization. Or for the interns, if you take part in any internship programs, it will be also one of the suggestions you can raise up to your management team. So when it comes to sustainability practice, right, ESG, in S, we call it environment and sustainability in our organization. So we have our lunch boxes. So any of our colleagues, if they go out to eat lunch, we highly, highly encourage to avoid any wastage of packaging materials, use the lunch box that we provide. I think pretty good. We didn't track how often it's used. We didn't track how much carbon footprint is safe, but it became an initiative that some of the very passionate colleagues, they rally behind that cause. Okay, at the same time, our company no longer prints any paper name cards. So if any of you have a copy of my physical paper name card, keep it. Hopefully it's worth some money next time. Yeah, so we migrated everything to either QR code or NFC. Yeah, so this allows us to save thousands of liters of water, a little bit of the forest as well. Our company, real estate, we are blessed with a big balcony, about 2,500 square feet. So what do you do with a big balcony? You can use for recreation, right? Okay, we devote half the balcony to do an urban farm. So in this urban farm, every 2 months, okay, there's a produce of vegetables. In fact, this morning I saw a lot of vegetables in our lobby. Okay, so those are harvested from the farm just fresh. Okay, organic, pesticide-free. If you want, can come down. We'll let you know. Yeah, and we also have some little bit of mini competitions to spark the initiative within our company. Okay, something else not hidden within here is that 2 years ago, as an organization, we also removed all dustbins in our office. How many of you here in your office, there's not a single dustbin? Oh, very heartened to see that. Okay, so we decided to actually cut away all the dustbins in our office. And we tell people that, because we have a strong belief that when it comes to being responsible, you kind of have to make it inconvenient for some people to consume. So when we make it inconvenient in a manner, okay, our colleagues become more conscious when they want to purchase items that has packaging waste. So you close the loop at the tail end of consumption, right, disposal aspect. So while, of course, this was controversial at the start, we managed to pull it off. So in terms of diversity and inclusion, which is under the S pillar, we had done our bit, okay, national service. We encourage our employees to have children, to start a family of their own. But besides just words on our lips, we also walk the talk, right? So in our organization, we have one room, okay, we created it as a motherhood room. So for any of the mothers after delivery, if they wish to express milk or wish to have a quiet corner or even bring their child to work, they can use that room. It's dedicated for them. So last year, 2022, we had a bumper crop of Elite's babies. We have seven Elite's babies. Yeah, so out of these 7 parents, 6 are still working with us. So not bad, right, the ratio? Okay, not bad, I must impress you with what I have, right? Okay, we also have an LGBTQ plus friendly policy. So this is also an affirmation that to us, we don't just hire from all walks of life, we hire from all preferences of life. Yes, so in our company, there's a mini community of LGBTQ plus, okay? We set our policy to ensure that they are safe, no discrimination, okay, no bullying. At the same time, for myself, I'm very passionate about blood donation. So I felt it was good to infuse this into the DNA of the organization. So when COVID policies taper down, we organized a few drives. We are into our 3rd drive post-COVID. Okay, so on some of these drives, the HSA will send the blood donation mobile team to our office, and we all donate blood together. And at the same time, we have various CSR outreach to Lions Befrienders, Blossom Seeds, so on and so forth. Okay, next aspect about governance. Now, in the broad elements of ESG, typically governance is the hardest to get people passionate about, right? How do you get someone passionate about governance? You can get them passionate about environment, about social, but governance is not so easy. It's very dry, very policy-driven. Okay, so these are some activities and accreditations that we get. So we have done our carbon footprint analysis. Okay, we have also put effort to devise up whistleblowing policies. Okay, so this ensures that our people understand that if they were to surface up any issues that they believe is detrimental to the organization, there's a safe channel for them to provide the feedback. And of course, that feedback will be channeled directly to me, and there will be a committee that handles every incident report. At the same time, we refresh our business code of conduct. So all our colleagues, they have to internalize this, they have to take a quiz on that. Within that, there's also some segments that talk about off-duty behavior so that they preserve the company branding. So this is also part of governance. Okay, and of course, we still need a bit of window dressing, to be honest. So we put through our efforts, we did our EcoVadis, we managed to get silver, we went through ISO 9001, 14001, we signed a few pacts with United Nations. So that allows us to at least portray to our clients or to our future candidates that, okay, we got some of these settled down, some accreditations and seal of approval, right? Okay, there are some other practices. I worry I'm running out of time. I shall breeze through this. Okay, reducing paper wastages. Okay, we encourage flexible arrangement, which I'll share a bit more later. Okay, we also have a huge drive in our company to manage about skills upgrading, because we have another associated subsidiary that does training. Okay, so of course we ensure that all our colleagues also go through certain hours of training every year. Now, I'll spend some of my last minutes to talk more about some of these HR practices that we have adopted in the recent few years, pre-COVID and of course during COVID. Now, before COVID, we do a lot of regular trip incentive. Now we still do that, but just once a year. Okay, mindful about carbon footprint, right? Okay, next one, pretty interesting. I don't see any other companies experimenting this. So during COVID, we managed to purchase the office that we're occupying, total about 15,000 square feet. And what we do is that we created it into a co-investment program for some of our colleagues to invest alongside with us. So we were confident that the price was reasonably good. And when we opened up, we were very heartened that there's many colleagues that believe in the company's investment decision. And they tag along with us to invest in the properties that we are now occupying. And we did a review actually in Q3. So we also posted on LinkedIn. Very impressive. We managed to do a revaluation of the properties. So far, the ROI is very good, okay, because there's a leverage over there, right? And most of the properties we occupy has actually increased in value, and the ROI is somewhere near 80% based on the initial investment. Yeah, so our colleagues are very happy, but it's still paper gain, right? So haven't cashed out. Yeah. Okay, at the same time, 2 years ago, we also implemented employee share options program. So as we have already iterated to them, okay, that our narrative over the next few years is that we want to grow to a size to get listed. I think it's very important to distill it to every individual in the organization. What does it mean for them? When a company grows and scales and becomes listed, what does it mean to an individual employee? And we want them to treat this organization as their own. And in fact, one of our key values is entrepreneurship. So what we did is that we identified our HODs and other performing members. We gave them share options. And these share options are issued every year from 2 years ago to the next few years until we get listed. And upon listing, okay, hopefully some of them will become millionaires. I don't know. Yeah, it depends on how hard we work now. And next, we have the Elites Work Anywhere program. Now, I see this not as something new. Mosgan was talking about it. Many of my predecessor speakers were also speaking about this. So, in fact, I see that this is a very good revolution that COVID brought about, right? You know, before COVID, many forward thinkers have been exploring how do we do flexi work arrangement. But when the circuit breaker happens, it's proven to everyone that it can be done. However, at the start of last year, 2022, policies change, you know. Even the government encourages that you can now start to go back to office. But our company took a very contrarian stand. So even though when the policy in January 2022 was that, okay, you can start to get people back to office, we maintain our work from home or work anywhere policy. So in fact, we are bold that we go one step further. How many of you in your company, you have a 4-day work week or 4 days work in office? 3 days? Okay, so this work anywhere program says it's a 4 days a month in office. The rest of the days, they can go anywhere they want. They can even pack their bags, travel to Bali, do the work there for the balance 3 weeks, no problem. Okay? So this Elites Work Anywhere program has managed to work very well for us on 2 fronts. Okay, one is retention. Second, of course, talent attraction. Yeah, so when we do this and our competitors are not exactly doing the same, we manage to cream off the better talents to join our organization. Okay? So actually, I've now come almost to the end of my keynote, and I want to have some takeaways for everyone in the audience today. So for HR practitioners, if you are keen to understand more about the Elites Work Anywhere program, I've decided that in the spirit of transparency, you know, governance, ESG, governance, transparency, and the spirit of transparency, I make our internal memo free for distribution to all of you. Later, you can visit our booth, just scan the QR. No need to sign up anything. Scan it, take it, and go. See if you can implement it in your organization. For the students over here, that if you're about to enter the workforce, I give you advice as a recruiter. So I wear a few hats, right? So one other hat I wear as a recruiter. That how do you stand out against, you know, so many competitors vying for some very luxurious jobs? So do some research. Understand the company you are applying for. Most companies worth their salt today or in the near future would have proclaimed on their website about their stand on ESG and about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. You know, there's 17 SDGs. Most companies would have already affirmed that, okay, I stand for number so and so and so, certain amount of goals. Be familiar about it. Try to rationalize how you are able to contribute to that company in terms of this SDG. And from there, I believe that you have a better edge. You can stand out compared to your competitors. Okay, so thank you very much. I put my LinkedIn over here. It's a QR if you want. You can scan, add me. If you missed out on the Work Anywhere program template, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Right?
Yes.
Thank you.
You take a QR code, download.
Thank you.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you, Derek. That was Derek Teo, of course, Group CEO of Elites Group. You know, sustainability in HR is kind of a vague and ambiguous word, right? And I'm sure some students might still be confused about what exactly sustainability in HR is.
Well, thankfully, Derek was very clear in really operationalizing sustainability in HR in all aspects of ESG. And what I was listening to, the last part about the Work Anywhere program, I was like thinking, that is a classic blue ocean strategy, right? He didn't come up with something to compete within his peers. He really came up with something that's totally different, unexpected, uncharted territory. So really, hats off to Derek for that.
Derek and his team, of course. Okay, so it's looking beyond the tangible gains of an organization, really. We have to look at the intangible ones that will make the most impact. And next up, we have our final keynote speaker, and she will be shedding light on navigating the social aspect of ESG in sustainability for businesses. We're all very excited to hear from her. I know I am, after Emma here told me about Prudential's long-standing collaboration with SP, with Singapore Poly, through student projects in banking and finance, and most recently in human resource on green finance and important HR issues like psychological safety, proving that she is an engaged business leader who is leading people strategies and championing innovative people practices. Please give your warmest welcome to Ms. Nita Nair, Chief Human Resource Officer of Prudential Singapore.
Welcome. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am the last session of the day, so I hope you can hold on, especially the students who've been sitting there for a while, but I hopefully will make it interesting for you. So what was interesting was Derek's presentation. In fact, everything that he said, I can say we've done all the above, so you don't have it, to talk through that at all. But what that also shows is actually just about intent. Actually, the whole social sustainability piece is a long-term investment, and it may seem very expensive. One may think that as a smaller organization or an SME, you may not be able to do it. But what a great example that Derek and team have done actually shows it's just about ensuring your intent is very clear and you are investing in it. So, I'm pleased to be here to be talking about Prudential's story on navigating the social aspect of ESG, or what you may call social sustainability. And I think, was it Felicia who gave the definition earlier on in terms of it's about managing the business impact on people in terms of customers, various vendors, the ecosystem, at large, the communities at large. And I think that's great. It's, I think the other definition which I like and which creates a bigger purpose for us is what ChatGPT gave me this morning in terms of what is sustainability. And it's about managing the needs of off and on. Are you losing me off and on?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's about managing the needs of the current generation without compromising the needs of the future generations. And that broadens it, and especially as an HR professional, it actually opens up a longer discussion about sustainability. It's not just about for now, but even for future generations. So as far as Prudential and the story is concerned, social sustainability is very key to our purpose, our strategy. In fact, in terms of the products and services that we deliver, we have a huge role to play in how we can impact the underserved needs of the society. Personally, for me, it talks to my individual purpose of helping people get the most out of life. So surely a topic that I'm passionate about, and I'm really glad to be sharing the story of Prudential. But before I get to that, let me quickly give you a snapshot of Prudential for those of you who may not know. We've been here since 1931 in Singapore, and about 175 years globally. In Singapore, we are 1,200 plus staff, 5,000 plus agents. We have 1 million plus customers, and we operate through 2 bank partnerships. So that's a huge human footprint that we could actually have direct impact through in terms of social sustainability. If you look at some of the stats I've put up there, we are a very female-centric organization, and that's one of our ESG targets. So 60% plus of our staff are female. Gender pay gap, which is one of the ESG targets we have, is close to 0 in terms of senior managers and above. So that's surely a great achievement, and we continue to strive to work towards the 0. We are predominantly local in terms of SGPR and citizens. And what I'm proud to say is we are age agnostic, so we don't have a retirement age. What that means is people can continue to work as long as they're physically and mentally able and want to contribute. So for us, these are some of, and I hope that's made you curious about some of the stuff that we are doing on social sustainability. In terms of the ESG framework, our ESG strategy is actually embedded in our purpose. And actually the whole story that I'm going to talk to you about Prudential very much starts with purpose. Everything in Prudential is about ensuring we know our North Star, which is for every life, for every future. Our ESG strategy focuses on these three key pillars, essentially making health and financial security accessible, the human impact on climate change, and building social capital. So every year, we publish the ESG report voluntarily, also at the group level as well as in Singapore. And some of the achievements in 2022, as you see, are listed there. So surely from the E point of view, we've had 50% reduction in our scope 1 and 2 emissions since 2016. And we are on track to being carbon neutral by 2030. That's on the E side, but of course we're talking more about the S and the social. So you will see we actually embed that through our community service, how we contribute to the community, the hours that our people invest in, capability development hours, and some of you may recognize Cha-Ching if you've seen that in school or been exposed to it. That's a financial literacy program, and just last year, 4,000 students that we impacted in Singapore and about 1 million plus across 14 countries. So those are some of our social sustainability efforts and investments, and that's how we measure. So moving on, now all of that doesn't just happen overnight. It was a deliberate, concerted effort based on a cultural transformation journey that we went through for about 5 to 6 years. And that's what has actually been the foundation for a lot of things that we do. I'd like to explain our transformation journey in terms of 3 aspects. One is a purpose-led culture that goes, how that impacts the larger societal causes. Building future-ready capabilities, and not just for employees, but for the larger community, for students, for SMEs that we interact with, so the larger ecosystem. And finally, the culture, which impacts mindset, capabilities that impact skill set, coming together in service of our customers in terms of the products and services that we design, which are inclusive and impact society. So with that, I will talk to the first one in terms of creating a purpose-led culture. Our people actually truly believe in the purpose and the values that we have defined. It's a way of life. Sustainability is actually a way of life in our company, and I don't want to repeat a lot of things that Derek said. I actually mean it. All of those things, from how we, on a day-to-day basis interact, the environmental impact that we have, the farm to table, or the way people, without dustbins. It was interesting to hear how some of the things that he had adopted seemed like he'd been in Prudential himself, were all things that we have done. But making sustainability a way of life extends beyond just our staff. We involve their families, their partners. And so what you see as a picture here is actually our Wellbeing Week, where we invite every year our families, their kids, their parents, come, and this year it was around well-being for sustainable performance, and enrolling not just our staff, but even their families in that mission. You see actually the Paralympian Ping Shu there coming and talking about the topic as well. So it's actually ingrained in the way we do things. The first aspect of that is around, as I said, being very clear around our purpose and values. And we've actually changed our purpose and values through the years to meet the needs of the customers, what we know as our applicants, our employees. So you'd see, innovating to help everyone live well, helping people get the most out of life. And today, it is for every life, for every future. Now, that actually has created the foundation for a learning culture, a well-being culture, diversity and inclusion, and some of the volunteerism-related pieces that we do, and an innovation culture. At Prudential, it's not just the responsibility of the ESG team to do all of these ESG efforts. It's an org-wide effort. And every time we design our processes, our initiatives and programs, we keep in mind the purpose and our ESG strategy. So when you have a common aligned purpose and values and everything is linked to that, that's when you're able to actually create that larger social sustainability impact. So that's critical in my view on how you can start implementing some of it. In terms of the do-good culture, I think that's something that we do and it's a part, as I said, of our way of working. But it's not just enough to say that we do good, we contribute to society. You saw some of the R's that I'd listed earlier. But it's actually how we enable as HR and how we have embedded that into our HR practices. So when we hire fresh grads, management associates, we hire for culture fit. We ask questions around passion for something beyond just studies and volunteerism and causes that they support, and even for internships as such. So it's embedded in the hiring practice. In terms of onboarding, day one of onboarding are actually the 3 days that you have where we put people through orientation. One of the days is actually contributing to a cause with our community investment team. We want people to have that in their DNA, to know how important that is as you continue to work with us. So from onboarding onwards, you have volunteerism embedded. We have 5 days volunteer leave for anybody to go in and contribute to a cause that they are passionate about. And of course, all our talents as we progress them are expected to demonstrate being associated as well as contributing to some cause. So that's how as HR, for some of the HR students here, if you're interested, it's about enabling this social sustainability through the HR practices and not just talking about it at a higher level, right? Diversity and inclusion, and this of course is a key part of social sustainability. Everyone talks about it, but we've taken very targeted segments and looked at where we want to create impact. So earlier on, you had seen we have no retirement age. Now, I'm proud to say we were the first in the industry to have actually removed retirement age, and that was very much focused on the fact that Singapore, the lifespan is increasing, people can contribute meaningfully for a longer period. So how can we continue to employ them? And that's when we thought of doing away with retirement age. As an HR professional, it's not many times that you get to do something so impactful. I could even claim that we started the conversation and extension of the retirement age as such, and so we contributed to those consultations as well. So removal of retirement age was one focused on mature segments, and the photo that you see there is a lady called Noreen Wee, 66 plus today, who was really worried about whether we'll offer her re-employment, and retirement, what would she do? But today she continues to be with us, contributing meaningfully to her own self-worth, to the organization, and she's super proud and a poster girl for us in terms of influencing many others who continue to work for us beyond the so-called statutory retirement age. In alignment with that, we also normalize CPF. What that means is post-55, if you continue to contribute at 20%, the organization is committed to contributing at 17%. So if you are doing the same job as anybody else, how does age matter and why should CPF be different? So for us, that's about embedding it into the HR practices and social sustainability. True Young Professionals, of course, is around Gen Z, understanding their needs, as I think Lloyd and many others standing here were saying about the changing aspirations of how students, applicants, Gen Z want to work with organizations. So we're trying to understand that better, and we involve them in consultation as we design processes, bring them together. And women in tech is a segment that we still need work to do. That is one area where we don't have 60% female representation, somewhere in 30s. But that's also an aspect of the supply chain. We see that women in STEM has been relatively lower. So now we're working with, whether it's IHLs, universities, also on mentoring to contribute to that. So for us, that's how we live out diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Well-being for sustainable performance is a key aspect of the culture, a purpose-led culture. And I think similar things that you heard Derek say, but I just add on to say, with those changing needs that I spoke about, Wellness leave, it's a mandatory 5 days wellness leave we force all our staff to take because we do believe that they need to take that as part of their well-being. Reflect, rejuvenate, and recharge leave is something we started post-COVID, where we realized people were reassessing their priorities. So taking a 2-month sabbatical where they could go off and invest in themselves, either do nothing, travel the world, or invest in their learning, and that we made available through the RRR leave, as we call it. Hybrid flexi time, it was an interesting thing. I raised my hand on what Derek said, who has a 4-day work week? I actually meant that there are teams who practice 1 day or 0.5 day completely off, even if they're sitting remotely. So we do pilot, and we have 200 plus people who actually manage their work hours and time such that they can, and they have a system of just working 4 days in a week, albeit remotely. So that's what a 4-day, 4.5-day week means. And that has allowed people like what you see on the photo there, single parents like Sherwin, to manage their family needs, his health needs with a very demanding HR job. And that's kind of created buy-in for us from a lot of people who really value working with us for flexibility. Today is Mental Wellbeing Day, so I just want to also share that that's the other aspect, and we have really invested in. We have our own employees who have been trained in mental well-being as mental well-being supporters, and performance and well-being coaches who support other people in terms of these challenges. And of course, there are many other financial well-being initiatives as well, which you would expect from a financial services organization anyway. The second aspect of building this social sustainability is around building future-ready capabilities. What you saw as a picture there, some of you may recognize this, they may be sitting in the crowd. This is the TUP platform. It's actually the ecosystem that was built by Gen Z for Gen Z, and it's in partnership with the 10 IHLs, with Skills Future, and some of the SMEs. So it's actually an ecosystem where we've collaborated with all the various partners, and it makes it available as in mentoring, coaching, training programs, internships, psych safety related aspects that they were talking about earlier. All of this is on this open platform of TUP. If you don't know much about it, we have a booth outside. Do go visit, and we're happy to share. But that's an aspect of building talent pipeline, both backward integration, as I call it, standing as HR in the organization, building the supply chain from the communities, from the ecosystem outside, and also forward, continuing to build the pipeline within in terms of closing the gap on future-ready capabilities. In terms of enabling HR practices that support that, we surely have scholarships and bursaries to support students with, from low-income families and have financial needs, and with the various government programs. So earlier at the panel discussion, I did say we should be, grateful and privileged to be in Singapore, where the government really supports both corporates, students in terms of skills development. And SGUT, which came up during the COVID period, was something that really enabled us to support a lot of students, get trained and subsequently be placed. So over the 2 years, we took on about 100 plus SGUT trainees from various universities, and about 30% of them actually got permanent employment with us. But we enabled training the SG workforce, and they could go out and get jobs in other places. So that's a larger contribution that we're talking about. And of course, there are many other such programs that the government does support. And Prove Young Innovator is something that our innovation team goes and teaches design thinking skills to secondary school students and IHLs and many, such that they can actually, learn as well as apply through some of the projects that they do. It's a win-win for us because they go in and solve some business problems that we are facing, whether it's related to business challenges, innovation, ESG, some of the things that were mentioned earlier as well. SME Skills Accelerator, the Queen Bee program, I think some of you may be involved in, is also an ecosystem that we support. So just over this year, 200 plus SMEs is what we have supported. So overall, that's the part in terms of contributing to building capabilities in the external part. Internally, we, of course, as I had mentioned briefly before, around some of the programs that we do, but I'd only touch upon the career conversion program. And I think that's another one where 150 plus of our staff actually reskill themselves in taking on future-ready skills and repurpose themselves into newer roles. And I'm proud to say that's actually a highest number in the insurance sector in terms of the large scale of people who went in for this program. So we have a philosophy in Prudential: your role may disappear, but you don't need to. And that's what the career conversion program and the reskilling programs are about, how we continue to build. So the picture that you see there is actually Aryani, who has been with us for 17 years, and in the initial years she went through many operations functions, but subsequently interacting with various financial consultants providing advice. And subsequently, when that role was at risk, she reskilled herself to be a chatbot trainer. And this is in her 40s, which is possible, and a lifelong learning. She trained chatbots, and when that became a stable, today she moved into a medical portfolio management in a very evolved way of looking at our medical portfolio. So lifelong learning is something our people actually believe in and is in the DNA today. Thankfully, it's a learning organization where staff contribute and paid forward by training others. So that's the Proof faculty in-house trainers. Finally, coming to the customer-centric products and services. And so we are investing in the mindset through a purpose-led culture, in the skill set through building future-ready capabilities. And all of this, hopefully, then we expect will contribute to how our staff contribute to the customers, customer being our compass. Products and services that we have being financially inclusive, in terms of product inclusivity as well as digitization. So trying to understand the changing needs of the customers. And one of the things that you see is we raise the coverage to up to 100, which is typically 80, for corporate clients' workforce. So that's considering that people do age and live longer. We looked at product inclusivity in terms of the different types of products. We have some 70 plus kinds of products on specific needs of different segments, bite-sized products for cancer and for various 21 small infections, all of these which are typically not thought of, and you know, we expanded to that. In terms of digitization, making it hassle-free and easy for people to access these things. So that was the other aspect of product. Finally, in summary, these three things is what we have invested in terms of building our social sustainability piece, and has given us a reputation of being progressive, an employer of choice, people first, all of which is surely a recognition of the efforts. And you see we have external recognition coming through on our, whether it's the sustainability efforts and community impact, or as a #1 insurer in terms of best customer service, or top LinkedIn organization last year. And many are internally as well, where our people resoundingly say, give us high feedback in terms of they feel engaged, they feel a sense of well-being, and feel that there are enough and more growth opportunities. So it is an investment. It is a long-term investment. It may be resource-intensive, cost-intensive, but it does bear fruits. And it's something that, given the changing needs of students, applicants, employees, one needs to cater to, and it's actually going to pay off in the long run. Last but not the least, and I won't repeat this because I happened to mention it in the panel speech as well, I think the role of HR, and to make it relevant to all of you, is hence to be a culture custodian, to actually enable that, to ensure purpose values are embedded in the HR practices so that the leaders and staff and managers can actually live it through. Change catalyst and value creators, to have confidence and courage that actually the HR function does add value to business. We've got to uplift our own HR profession and community and believe in ourselves, and I think nothing better than now. It's the right time, the right place, the right role that you may be in if you're looking at HR. So finally, to close it off, the essence of the role of HR in social sustainability, I would say, is embodied in that one quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which is, "Be the change you hope to see in the world." And that would help you contribute to social sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nita. Thank you. I tell you, my mind's buzzing. The 3 C's. The 3 C's. Culture, culture, collaboration, and customer-centric focus. But my favorite, the three R's.
3 R's.
The 3
Yeah.
R's. What's that?
We're sitting back
Yeah,
there.
rejuvenate, reflect.
Reflect. What's the last R?
Relax. I like that. Nita, do visit later all the booths, exhibitors later because there's so much that you can take away from them. You know, I am also connected to Nita. You know, we were just in Prudential a few months ago when we did the final year project presentation, gallery walk to Prudential. I can tell you I took a lot of pictures because there's a lot of everything is sustainability. Yeah. And it's interesting that for so many years we talk about human capital, right? So today I heard this new thing that is investing on social capital. So thanks, Nita, for teaching me yet again something new and teaching all of us. So please go visit their booth today. I'm looking here because there are a lot of people from Prudential here. In fact, there's 2 Wendy's here. They're part of the 61% of the women workforce in Prudential.
Right, that wraps up the end of the seated segment of this event. And on behalf of the HR Symposium Working Committee, we'd like to express our sincerest gratitude to all distinguished speakers, booth exhibitors, performers, and attendees who have played a pivotal role in the success of this event. Please scan this QR code to give us your valuable feedback and tell us what you would like us to focus on for HR Symposium 2025.
Ladies and gentlemen, guests and students, do make sure please go and visit the exhibition booths located in the foyer where you can discover exciting projects, prospects, and opportunities for collaboration. There's so many things you can learn from. There's Elites is there, Prudential's there, Adeco's there, TAFEP is there,
exactly.
IHRP is definitely there. Yep. Yeah, so please go and get started in your sustainability transformation journey. Refreshments are also provided, so feel free to indulge yourselves.
Once again, thank you for attending HR Symposium 2023. This is Felicia.
And this is Emma.
Together, we hope to see you again at HR Symposium 2024.
Now
or rather, 2025.
2025.
See, I'm so eager to come back, no?
May we invite those at the lower levels, seats closer to the stage, to please head outside for the booths exhibition. For students at the higher level seats, please wait for a few minutes before you exit.